Do you believe in God? Who is God to you? I do believe in God. I would say He's probably the most important thing in my life, and pretty much everything I do, I attempt to make it all about God, or I think about God before I do certain things. That's the way I like to say that I live, even though sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. Describe your relationship with God. I think at this point in my life, I have a good relationship with God. I pray about 2 or 3 times a day on my own, and then I have the exam at school, and I pray in class. Um, I go to church regularly, pretty much every Sunday, as much as I can. I go to confession once every 2 months. Um, and I see my relationship with God getting better and better as I go along and continue my high school career and then college. Describe how you pray or connect to God. Usually I pray when I wake up. I just kind of thank God, I woke up, and I pray that I have a good day and that everyone in the world who needs God has a good day. Then during the examen at Strake, I connect with God by examining my day and my sins for that day, and basically if I've lived that life for God. And I connect with God during prayer at night when I pray kind of thanksgiving for all the things that I have. I ask forgiveness for all the blessings I have in my life, and then I ask God to watch over all those who need Him most. When have you felt closest to God? Have you ever had a profound religious experience, like a moment of conversion or reawakening? I wouldn't say I've had a specific moment in my life where I really felt closest to God. I just think that sometimes I'm in an intense prayer and I can feel God the most. Maybe at adoration a couple times at St. Lawrence, where I went to middle school. A couple times I felt extremely close to God in prayer and worship. And then I guess when my grandma died in 2009, I kind of saw my family together, and it was just really great to see how that worked, and I really saw God in that. Who do you look up to for their relationship with God? A kind of faith hero of sorts, could be a parent, a saint, etc. I've always kind of had a person in my life who a lot of people probably know. He goes to Strake, Brandon Bain. I've known him probably since I was 3 years old. He's always been like a role model, I guess, in religion for everything that he's done. He strives to be a priest eventually, and if I ever have any problems, I always go to him because he knows exactly what to say. And I've had some problems before, and I've gone to him, and he's always helped me. And I just kind of look to him as a positive role model. I also look up to my parents. My mom grew up a Catholic just like I did, and my dad was not very religious as a kid, and until he met my mom, really. And then he converted to Catholicism, and his spiritual journey has kind of inspired me and helped me to stay with my faith. Which Christian tradition or church do you belong to? Why do you belong to that church? Or why do you not belong to any church? I'm a Catholic. I guess I could say I'm a part of this because it's just I was born and I was baptized. My mom has always been a Catholic, and like I said, my dad converted. I guess I could say I've never thought about anything else, any other church, because I agree with all the teachings of the Catholic Church, and I've learned it all in my religion classes in middle school and elementary, and theology classes at Drake. And I mean, I belong because I guess I feel that God calls me to be a part of the Catholic Church, and it's really like I know who I am, and I know that I'm a Catholic. Did you grow up as a Christian? What do you most remember about your faith? What do you remember about the faith of your parents? I did grow up a Christian. Like I said, I was born pretty much Catholic all my life. I was baptized as a baby. Nothing I remember. And I went to St. Lawrence Catholic School ever since I was in pre-K 3. And I've always learned about the Catholic faith, and that's all I've known, religion-wise. And I mean, I've celebrated the sacraments at the ages that we're supposed to. I mean, reconciliation and the Eucharist in 2nd grade, and then I'm going to get confirmed soon next fall. I guess I remember learning about my religion the most, how I learned about it in religion all throughout my years at St. Lawrence. Basically there I learned about the Bible and then living out my faith. It was kind of repetitive over the years, and that just kind of showed me like what I have to do to be a part of the Catholic faith. And I think I most remember my first reconciliation. Just the feeling I had like coming out of confession and knowing, wow, I'm forgiven. This is probably one of the better feelings of my entire life. Knowing that I have God with me at all times, even when I sin. And the faith of my parents, I remember, I mean, my mom tells me stories about how she went to Catholic school when she was young, and it's just very similar to the way she's brought me up. And if I've asked her questions about my faith, and she's always been able to answer, she knows more than I do about the faith. She goes to church every Sunday. She's always busy, so she doesn't really have the time to go to reconciliation as much as I do. She probably goes twice a year. She's always praying, and she's always talking about God. And then my dad was went through RCIA a little after I was born, I think. I don't remember it, so... But he's always been kind of a role model for me. He always kind of gets me to sing at church when I'm tired or something, and tells me and just gets on me for not worshiping. And he's always kind of a role model for me in his prayer life. What impact has your membership in the church had upon you? I guess I'm constantly thinking about the church and God, and how like my life should be affected by the church. I mean, I don't think I'd be here in my faith if it weren't for the church. And like I wouldn't have this good of a relationship with God, which is like the most important thing in my life. So I mean, the church is probably the most important thing to me, other than, I mean, God. I guess being a part of the church as well has been important to me, to be a part of the community, and to know other people in the same situation, like faith life, as me. What do you think are your most important obligations as a member of the church? How have you been active in your church? The most important obligations as a member of the church for me are probably going to church regularly, obviously. I've done some service work at the church, and I feel like that's an obligation, and I'm not like old enough to donate money yet to the church, but I feel chipping in with my parents and always making sure that they're giving their money during the donations. Maybe I drop in a few dollars to the black bag, which at my parish goes to some charity organizations, usually different every mass. Just participating in like the sacraments is probably my most important obligation. I did vacation Bible school when I was younger. Um, Went to a couple what we call Edge during middle school, which is just a religious class for anyone part of the parish, any teenagers. And I'm a part of confirmation right now, and we have this thing called Life Night, which is after every mass on 5 o'clock on Sunday at 5 o'clock, and we go and we just talk about the faith, and it's a lot of what I learned in theology, and I'm getting a kind of different view of it from like people in public schools, and not as fortunate me to go to straight Jesuit, so I get to learn all aspects, or I think I get to learn all the aspects of the church. Have you ever considered working for your church as a minister or other religious person? Um, I've never really thought about it. I mean, maybe I could see myself being. I mean, not really. I don't. I've thought about seeing myself when I get a lot older and I'm retired from my job, maybe thinking about being a deacon just to help out. But I don't really see myself participating in the church in that way.